is a podcast about all things holistic health and self-discovery with me, Ask Elizabeth, counsellor, health advocate and fundraiser. Join me as we get to know these guests and learn about how they implement health, well-being and self-care practices into their lives. Welcome to Unearthing Wellbeing with Ask Elizabeth, where our greatest wealth is health. Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 19 of Unearthing Wellbeing. This week I had Julie Mathers on the podcast. You may know her as the CEO and founder of Flora Fauna, the trailblazer in the health space, paving the way and inspiring the augmentation of new businesses like my own, as well as existing ones to leave a conscious and lasting mark on the world. We speak about how Julie knew from the beginning that she was destined to create her own sanctuary within the holistic health space and be her own boss, to the reasons she's motivated to continue supporting important organisations and charities, not to mention giving key advice to those wanting to venture into creating their own businesses. Without further ado, here is Julie. Hi Julie, thank you so much for coming on. Welcome to Unearthing Wellbeing, where your greatest wealth is health. How are you today?
I'm really well, thank you, and I'm so delighted to be here. It's a real treat, so thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. It's my pleasure. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, oh gosh, where do I start? So I'm 45. I have a lovely husband. I have two lovely babies, Woody and Alfie. Woody is 2 and Alfie is 10 months. And I run a business called Flora Fauna, which I set up 6.5 years ago now. And it's a very purpose-driven business. Basically, I worked in retail for a really long time. It's about 30 years now, actually, if I think about my first job.
Yeah, when we think
it's like, wow, it's 30 years ago that I worked in that bakery. That's insane. And that's like my second favorite job after this one. So, I know I loved that job. But yes, I've been working in retail for a really long time. And I got to the point where I just went, you know what, I can create a better business. And I also thought I had an itch I needed to scratch in terms of running my own business too. I'm pretty bad at working for people.
I love that.
I'm just not very good at it. I know myself really well, really well, and so I know what I'm good at and what I'm not good at, and so I started Flora Fauna, and that has been my world for the last 6.5 years, and then in the middle of that had two bubbas.
Beautiful. And I can say I love purchasing from Flora and Fauna. It just ticks all the boxes. And I think that's why I originally came across like your platform, because it just aligns with my ethos. And they do say like the people that you want in your life and the companies that you want in your life basically come to you without you realizing it. Which is
thank you.
You're welcome.
That's really lovely. Oh, I'm a big believer. You know what? I was talking to one of our. You see, I told you I would go off piste. I'm already doing it. I was talking to one of our brands last night, because by the time I finish my day, or by the time I finish all the things I've got to get done in the day, I sit down about 9 o'clock, and husband's the same because he works at Flora Fauna too, and we're there going, oh, okay, we've got to start working now. And it was about 11 o'clock last night when one of our amazing brands, she was just talking I was on email. I emailed her about something and she was online. And so we're just emailing back and forth. And she's just telling me a little bit about herself. The fact that she's effectively my age and she's studied in Tibetan Buddhism in a monastery. And it's like, she's fascinating. And I was just there going, wow, you've got an amazing story. And sometimes it's really nice to kind of just stop and hear about other people, because you're absolutely right. People kind of come to you at that point, I think.
Yeah, and that was a good segue. It wasn't off topic.
That's good.
Yeah, I honestly think that, I'm a true believer in, like, things happen for a reason, and your company is just amazing. Like, you've since removed all plastic from orders and continue to be 100% carbon offset. Plus, you're selling vegan products, natural products, and a huge array, mind you.
Yeah.
I guess from the first point, what does that mean, and how do you do this, like, with respects to plastic and all those carbon offsets?
So, and it's been a journey for us to get to this point, because when we started in 2014, we started about saying, okay, we started with 500 products and 30 brands. And it's very much a place of, here's a place to shop where you know that nothing is tested on animals and everything is natural. And that was kind of our premise. That's what we started with. And then over the last 6 years, we've really lent into our purpose. We've really found our purpose. And that's been a journey for us. And I always say to anyone who's starting a business, don't stress about knowing your purpose out of the gate, because you will figure that out, and your customers will almost tell you what it is. And then so it's kind of like, don't worry about having it perfect from day one. But we really figured out what we were about, a couple of years in. And I can remember so when we started, we just sent things in Aussie Post satchels, because we're doing like 2 orders a day. So it's like, put it in a satchel. And then it came to, I think it was Plastic Free July, I think it was 2016, when I just went, this is crazy that we're sending these plastic satchels. What are we doing? And I said, okay, what we're going to do, Plastic Free July, we'll do a test. And we're going to send all of these orders without the plastic satchel. Oh, and funnily enough, no orders were damaged or broken or anything else. So funny that. So we just kept it going, and we just said to our customers, what do you think? And we're like, brilliant, thank you. And that was really before anyone had kind of thought about plastic free. It was sort of, we just weren't, we've only really been thinking about this very recently. We haven't been thinking about it for very long. And that, I felt that for me was a bit of a pivotal moment in terms of going, well, we've done this, so what are we doing next? And that's minimal packaging. So take out the note and put it on the inside lid of the box. We just went from there in terms of then going, I look at every element of our business from the moment something walks into the door and going, how can we do this better? That's how I look at it. It's just, and our purpose is to help everyone make better choices. And that's not just what you shop. That's not just how you shop, but it's how you do everything. And that's how I view it here. It's like, okay, well, if we can do this better in our physical shop that we have here at the warehouse, we created the tables out of old pallets that we had hanging around, because I was just like, let's not buy tables, let's go and make them out of what we've got. And it's just, so that's kind of that, I suppose that's my philosophy. Let's just look at it and can we be better about it? And it just makes you also think. It doesn't it sort of takes the blinkers off a little bit, and instead of going, oh, we do it this way because everyone always does it this way, it's like, no, is there a better way? Let's find the better way. So that's how we've really grown, and I'm constantly thinking about it. And what's great is the team constantly think that way as well. I love it when I come in and they've gone, right, we're going to do this and this and this. And I just think that's awesome, because it's not me all the time. It's actually everyone.
Oh, that's amazing. And that is so inspiring. I think I'll be honest, I've got thoughts of starting up like just a website with all the products that I enjoy using and just putting it on there, because I'm already recommending them. I'm already writing blogs on them. Like, why not have that space so people are going from all these different websites, have them in like a one-stop shop? And like just there is tips and like what you've done, like that is so smart, and it's so easy to actually implement those as well, like writing on the box instead of getting paper, like then trialing out the plastic free month. Like it's astounding what you can do. And I think it's really nice because I don't know, it's kind of a bit how do I say it? What you put out into the world is what you receive back. So the company that you hold kind of generally have the same thoughts and beliefs and values as you do.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to have that. So you bounce ideas off each other.
Yeah, I think so. We have a great team here, and it's also, I think of it as a wider team. You know, we have a great team here, and then we have amazing brands who work with, and then beautiful customers. And some of the messages we get through, crikey, they're tearjerkers. Like they're real. They're amazing, and so I very much view what we've built as a community. It's really important that kind of people. So we set up a family group on Facebook so that people can share things with each other as well.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's kind of it's cool, and it's but yeah, some of the messages, we had one last night, and I'm there going, like,
tell us.
oh no, it's because I put Woody, my little boy, out there a little bit, and so and because Woody's got Down syndrome, and I think it's one of my big objectives is to drive inclusion.
Yeah.
So that people with disabilities, people who are different in any way, and I say different because different shouldn't be different. Different is actually the norm.
Yeah, exactly. We're all different and quirky.
We're all different. Exactly. Yeah. We've all got our own things, but we've grown up in this society where it's kind of like, unless you're sort of one fit, then that's not, then you're different. And that comes down to gender and everything. Gender and culture and race and sexual orientation and abilities and so on and so forth. And so for me, I'm a big pusher in terms of inclusion, and so I put Woody out there quite frequently to kind of not make Down syndrome a thing. It's like it shouldn't be. He's going to have challenges for sure. He's already got challenges, but my God, he's the most amazing little kid ever. I was long to bits, and so I know he's so adorable. It's so adorable. Like we constantly, Tom and I will be sitting, and if we watch it, if we did it last night, we got this message through, and it's from someone who whose child's got Down syndrome. And it's a very sad story, so I won't repeat it, But anyway, it was a real tearjerker. And Tom just went, "I'm just going to go and check on the boys." He just went to go, just make sure, just to go and have a look at them sleeping. And he's just amazing. But as a result of that, people share some really, really lovely things with us, and I think it's, and I just think it's absolutely lovely that people do share that with a company. So I'm really proud of the community we've built. Really,
you should be so proud, and that just shows that the people that are purchasing from you and I guess telling their personal details and those things, they trust you. Like it's just so nice.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's really humbling to the nth degree. It's really humbling, and it gets me to my core. So we just have an amazing team here, and Brianne, who runs our customer care, she'll always send notes through, and she'll go, "You might want to respond to this one." And I always get online and go and respond to those ones because they're just really people are sharing their intimate most things with us. And that's just lovely.
Oh, of course. And it kind of reinforces like why you started this business as well.
Yeah. It's all started. I kind of look at it, and we have our purpose and we have 8 values. And I think that the most important one of our 8 values is to be kind. And it's really, this business has been built out of kindness. And it was kindness for animals, which is why I started the business. And that kindness has really just transcended across so many elements now. And whether it's planet, people, and animals, that's how I look at it. And we can all do a lot to work on that in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And
that leads me to how many charities you've touched and helped. Just last year, in 2020, you donated to the following: Where Pigs Fly Farm Sanctuary, $8,013. Down Syndrome Australia, $500. Green Fleet, $3,238. 1% for the Planet, $1,701. Food Bank, you donated 500 toothbrushes and a van full of food. Like, firstly, thank you. And secondly, with each charity chosen, I guess, what motivated you? Have touched upon this, but what motivated you to choose these select charities?
Yeah, I'm always I always say this to the team. I always like choosing charities that, well, there's a few things that mean something, and also where I know the funds aren't going to get caught up in admin.
Yeah.
Because that's always like, I want the funds to go directly to the people or the animals or the cause that needs it.
Yeah.
So the first one that we really got on board with was Where Pigs Fly, and they're a gorgeous animal sanctuary in the Lower Hunter Valley. It's Deb, Jamie who run it. We went to go and they started around the same time as us, and I think it was about a year after they started that Tom and I went to go and visit. And then we just said, so we've been working with them for about 5 years now, and we just said, we really want to help you in whatever way we can through our platform. So I always call Flora Fauna a platform for purpose. That's how I view it.
Oh, nice.
I kind of go, what we do is around, it's really hard. If people say to me, what do you do? And I'm there going, I can't give you a really simple answer. I need to take you on a journey. I was like, I can't give you a 3 words. If I can say to you, sure, we're an online retailer who sells eco stuff, but that does not do us justice at all in terms of, exactly, it's like transactionally, that's what we do, but actually what we are is a platform for purpose and blah, 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 blah. And anyhow, So we picked Where Pigs Fly because my strong passion for animals, but also they really need help. Deb and Jamie really need help, and we know the animals that they have. And when did we go out? We went out in it was November. We actually had our Christmas party there.
Oh wow!
But it was like it was a 40-degree day though. It was absolutely, we were just boiling. But we were there just wandering around going, beautiful, and they named 2 little lambs after us.
Oh,
so we
bless.
called them. I think we called Flora and Fawnsy. So really cute. But they're just very close to us. It's a charity that needs help. So that was them. And then with Down syndrome, that's obviously got a link with our little baby boy. That's very personal. 1% for the Planet. This is all about actually we're using our own brand, which is Green and Kind, and 1% from every sale of Green and Kind goes to environmental causes with 1% for Planet, which could be, so we get to choose to pick them. So we haven't picked all of them yet, but environmental causes or such and so forth. So that's very important. And then Food Bank, that was during the bushfires, and they just needed help.
Yeah.
They just needed help. And we just went, well, how can we help? And I'm there going, right now, giving money to people is really not that helpful.
Yeah.
They need stuff. Yeah. So it's like, so I found out Food Bank and I went, how can we help? Like, what can we do that's useful that doesn't get in your way, basically? And I said, would 500 toothbrushes help? And they went, yeah, that'd be great. I'm like, brilliant, we'll do that. And then we actually put something out on Facebook and said, we're going to be a bit of a hub for collection for food. So if anybody has anything in their cupboards that they want to give, please come and donate, and we'll just go and drive the whole thing down to Food Bank.
Amazing.
So it's cool. And it's good to be able to do stuff like that. And this year we've just worked with Heart Kids, to a beautiful charity in terms of, again, this is all due to Woody. He's going to have heart surgery, and Heart Kids. So it's for Woody's birthday that we did this, and we said $1 from every order goes to Heart Kids, and they really support families of kids in hospital having heart surgery and in a really, really hard time. So all of our charities have meaning to us. And I always make sure that, we phone them up and we make sure that we have conversations with them. And Heart Kids actually dropped in last week to see us. And I said to her, hey, would you give an overview to the team of what you do? And she said, yep. So that's good. So, and we have donated money. We donated a huge amount of money, actually, year before last, to one charity that I actually think was a mistake, because we didn't even get they were just too big. And we didn't even get a thank you.
Wow.
It was like $10,000.
Can you tell us more about that, or you don't want to name names?
It was carbon offsetting charity. Mm-hmm. So I won't name it because that would be a bit nasty, but it's carbon offsetting charity, and they plant trees. And we thought this is a great thing to do. And normally we've worked with Greenfleet for 2 or 3 years now. 3 years now. Yeah. So, and for this one time we didn't work with Greenfleet, and we just went, we'll just do this one initiative where, it's really nice and it's $1 to plant a tree, and that's all very nice and succinct and blah blah blah. So it is one initiative, and we didn't get a thank you, we didn't get a follow up, we didn't know where the money had gone, and so we came away feeling really
flat,
really flat and empty, and just a bit like, and we also just went, where's our money gone? Where's it gone? And so we're just very nervous. And now we're really, really careful about charities in terms of, I need to be able to eyeball them.
With good reason. Really. Like, it's $10,000 and you're putting all your heart and soul into something, and they can't even say thank you back. Like, that's a bit...
I know it was a bit rough, really. So we've kind of just gone, okay, now...
I guess it's a learning curve. So
it's a learning curve. Yeah. I always think, and my one learning to anyone who's listening, if you're thinking about charities, call them up, talk to them, and this is a partnership, because you're giving money to them, but also you've got to be able to work together on this. So what we did recently with Heart Kids was, we gave them a huge amount of exposure, and actually that really, really helped them, because they know that they've had some big corporate donations on the back of it. I put some stuff on LinkedIn and various other things as well. But they also supported us by putting it on their LinkedIn and things. So, it is a partnership, and it should be. Yeah. And so I always think, if you're going to support charities, do your research and don't rush into it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good take home for those who are considering that. And I think they also, like, from what you've said, you're not just choosing charities willy-nilly. Like, you're choosing stuff that is meaningful to you, and it actually makes you feel even better and happier that you've actually contributed to those organizations. Yeah.
I think so. Oh, it does, because we like to follow the story. Like, I like going to Where Pigs Fly and seeing, well, how are the animals doing?
Yeah.
And we're friends. I'm really good friends with Deb, and it's because we've developed this sort of close bond, and we love what they do. And we're also on the same path. We're very aligned in terms of our values and our sort of purpose in the world, if you like. Yeah. So absolutely.
You are so inspirational, honestly, and I hope to be able to make even a small impact like what you've done one day in the world. So
I think everybody, whatever they do, everything helps. And I always just think just be a good human.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if my boys grow up, I just want my boys to grow up, and I'm not fussed whether they become astronauts or whatever. Actually, astronauts would be cool. I'd be quite happy. Like, I'd be quite excited about that. But I just want them to be really good, happy boys and men, and have great values. That's it.
I think that
everything else, don't care.
Yeah, and I think there will be. Yeah. It's like not the company that you keep, in this case, but it's who your parents are. And as a counsellor, we always look back in the family tree, and it epitomizes basically who they are. So basically, how they are as people is what the values they've been taught from and beliefs that they've been taught from their families. So, yeah.
I think so. Well, I hope so.
I think so. And you were also nominated top 50 people in the e-commerce world. Congratulations. Yes. You were the front cover. I think I see behind there. Congrats.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, oh God, we've got a few things, I'll tell you. I'll do a little, I'll send this. It's like show and tell. There we go. Woo. There's my little cover.
Congratulations.
Actually, this is on a big wood block, so that's what I've got. So that's kind of cool. So yes, that was really exciting.
Oh, for sure. I guess my question for you is for people who want to pursue a business, even in the slightest way like yours, what are your top 5 tips?
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a goodie. Okay, so if you want to do a business like this, or an online business, or whatever it is, purpose-driven, whatever, I'd say first tip, know your difference. What makes you different to everyone else? Because it's a really saturated market. Like, I cannot stress how saturated this market is. And we see people popping up, but also popping off, as it were, coming and go. We see people coming and going each week in terms of starting a business and then going, actually, this is really hard, and then stopping. So figure out how you're going to be different. So I think that's really important. Whatever market it is, whether you're selling what we sell, or whether you sell wine, or whether you sell air conditioning units, whatever it is, what's your point of difference? That's tip 1. Tip 2, skill up. For the first 2 years, the only people working in the business was Tom and myself, my husband and I. And I had previously to Flora Fauna, I was a GM in Woolies, where I had a fabulous team that did a lot of the work. And I just managed people, really. I did a lot of fluff, let's face it. And I had to figure out how to, and then suddenly you got to do the doing. So I took myself on a Photoshop course, which was about $250, probably the best $250 I've ever spent. Because I found out enough to do the absolute basics, and that's to kind of get us off the ground, because I couldn't afford a graphic designer. I couldn't afford even anyone to do a few hours a week for us, because my business has all been built out of savings and then to get us going. So skill up and try and figure out as much as you can yourself. Use YouTube. There's lots of stuff on there. That's tip 2. Tip 3, when you do get going, do bring on some good people. But I suppose, don't rush out the gates on it. Just make sure it's who's going to help you. So we're a really lean team here. We're like super lean. And someone said to me the other day, who does all the buying? I'm like, it's me.
Wow.
And I know, and it's insane. So, and I'm just in the process of recruiting a buyer now, actually, and a marketing manager now as well. We've just recruited a marketing manager. So but this is 6 years in. So, and some of the businesses that I've seen fail are the ones who have gone, oh my God, I need to build out this huge team. And you don't have the money to do it.
Yeah.
So just be really mindful. And the smaller you keep it, the more you keep focus on your cash flow, which is my tip number 4. Cash flow. Cash is king, and it will be the first thing to trip you up so you have to keep a daily eye on your cash flow. It's less important when you're little, but when you get bigger and your Aussie Post bill comes in and you go, and you can't. So yeah, and so the one thing that we look at every single day is cash flow, and that is really, really important. And big So really important. And then tip 5, what should you do? Tip 5, make sure you enjoy it. And I think also, if you think something's not working, don't persevere. Like, don't push, I'll say water up a hill, whatever there's other phrases, but water up a hill is a goodie. Before I started Flora Fauna, I thought about starting a juice cleanse business. So the juicecleanse.com.au, I still own the URL. And I went, and it's because I love juice cleansers. And I got the branding done, I got the packaging done. We'd got a quote to build ourselves a commercial kitchen. And then I just said to Tom, I said, look, you know what? It just doesn't stack up. I said, I just think we should stop now before we keep going and waste a lot of money and this business doesn't work. And that's probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. So if you have an idea and you don't back it 100%, don't do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it kind of reinforces the idea of follow your gut and your intuition.
Yes.
Because that's like pretty key and
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Actually, if I had a 6, definitely follow your gut. Whenever I've not followed my gut, that's when I've made bad mistakes. And I've done it with recruiting a couple of people. I've just gone, but on paper they seem really good, but my gut was off. And I just went, I'll recruit them anyway. And it didn't work. So follow your gut. That's a biggie.
Love that.
You know what's right.
Yeah. Of course. And I think the 2 questions that come to mind when you've mentioned all those 5, drop shipping, did you ever consider doing something like that?
No, never. And that is because I like to own the customer experience. So if you drop ship, you don't. And customers can get 3 parcels from 3 different places, and basically you're not in control of that last mile, the last few miles, and that's a really key part of your business. And I just didn't want to outsource that. It's also a real problem too, because suddenly a customer is getting 3 items, say, and then they phone us up and they go, "Oh, hang on a minute, I only got my coffee thing and I didn't get my skincare," whatever it was. And then we would have to go and bring up all the things and find out whatever. So it's a difficult model to do.
Yeah.
And not one that I was keen for. It also doesn't really go with our values in terms of, one of our values is to tread lightly. If a customer's putting an order in with us and there's 3 or 4 products in there and we send them 4 parcels, that is not treading lightly.
Yeah, so, that answers that question. And all of those points are so valid. I think it's more like a lot of people that I've spoken to who consider this option, it's more around how do you start and have a budget when you're sinking into your own savings.
And you got to do it. And my view is, unless you're prepared to do it, don't do it. You have to back yourself, because otherwise you're not taking any risk. And so are you really putting yourself out there and doing it? But if you back yourself so when I started, I bought all the stock, but I just bought like 2 units of things. So kind of almost one to sell and one as backup if that one sells. And I just bought really small quantities of things. And it is an investment, and you do have to, and I did that out of savings, but that is the reality of starting a business. You have to dig into your savings. And I have seen businesses try the drop shipping model and every single one has failed. So the only people who can make this thing work are the likes of your marketplaces like Catch and the Iconic. But they've already built their own brand. And so for them, it's like tagging this stuff on. If you're going to build a brand based on drop shipping, it is hard work.
And there's a lot of logistics around it too.
It's heaps of logistics. And what we're seeing as well is that brands don't want to do that. They're going, well, hang on a minute, why would I take all the risk and you take none of the risk, but then I give you a clip of the ticket? I could just not do that.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. It's kind of like an affiliate program, really.
yes, it really is. It is like an affiliate program. And it can be quite confusing for the customer, because I even get, if I'm on the Iconic, I can get confused because I'm there going, well, who's shipping this parcel? Is it the Iconic or is it someone else? And to be fair, I've never had a problem, but it is like an affiliate model.
Very
so, yeah,
interesting.
so we don't do it. Yeah.
As you mentioned before that you run a tight ship. How do you manage all this, plus being a mum of 2 bubs and a wife?
Yeah.
How do you how do you manage it all and avoid burnout?
So I think the reality is we don't have a work-life balance. So I can put that one to bed straight away. So we work. So Tom and I are both in the business, and I think that really, really helps when your partner's in it too. And we are just a team on this. So we are a team at home, we are a team at work, we're a team with the babies. So normally one of us is at home with the kids, and then one of us is in here, and we just swap and change on that. Yeah, exactly. And so we do that, but we work 7 days a week. And we last night we went to bed at 2. That is the reality. So we don't have balance at the moment, but that is the reality. So I don't want to paint a roses picture, because it isn't. It's hard, and we make sure we have enough time with our babies so they kind of get our priority during the day. But then you open up that laptop at night and you're in there for a bit. So but I think exactly. And I think it really, really helps if there's 2 of us in it and at home. And because someone said to me, "Oh, how do you work with your husband?" And for me, it's really easy, but I know a lot of people struggle with that, and it hasn't worked for them. But we kind of, with our skills, we really complement each other, and that helps too, because we're kind of not in each other's way, I suppose, at work. Yeah, exactly. So we kind of, but part of us now is recruiting people to help ease the load a little bit at work, so that and that's part of your growth too. That's just part of the journey. I'm just going, okay, we've got to recruit some people. So it's not easy. It is not easy.
And from what you've said, I guess correct me if I'm wrong, but have you hit those points of burnout? Or are you able to combat those?
Oh, yeah, we combat them. I mean, you have moments. So you have moments where you just feel overwhelmed. But they are moments. And I think it comes down to a bit of so I think one of the biggest traits that anyone should have if they start a business is they need resilience. You've got to be so, so resilient. And that's one of the things I definitely am. So I'm like a little punch bag, and I can kind of go, yeah, I'm fine. Because you have really hard times. Yeah. You'll have brands telling you that who used to work with, who you work with, suddenly saying to you, we can't work with you anymore for no particular reason. But they're a very important brand of your business. Or you'll have moments where someone in your team leaves and you're like, no. Or you'll have moments where COVID hits, and then you suddenly go, geez, how do we manage this as a business? Or the warehouse floods. So there's, no, it didn't this year. Well, no, we had a bit of water this year, but we managed it this year. We did have it flood last year. Yeah, we did have it flood last year. So, but this year we managed it, thank goodness. But there's all these things that happen, and you just have to be resilient. But there are absolutely times when everything just gets too much. And and Tom probably wouldn't be. He would be happy with me saying this. The other day we were on a walk, and he just had a cry, and he was just like, just a bit overwhelmed at the moment. But sometimes you also just need to let it out.
Yeah, 100%.
Sometimes you just let it out, and you can get over it. And he's totally fine now. But it was just a momentary thing.
Yeah.
So there are moments of madness maybe when we just go, oh, this is so much,
And that's okay.
and it's not far, it's just life, and it's okay. But people have that, I say to Tom, like, people have this in so many, we are not the only people, lots of people have this for different ways. We're really lucky that our babies are very, very, very good boys. So they've slept through the night from day one, both of them, and they're just easy, chilled out boys. And sure, Woody has his challenges, but that's not even really not a big thing for us. But there are other parents where, they're not a good team. And it's a one-way, bit of a one-way street, and maybe the husband or the wife doesn't feel supported, or single parents, or your kids just aren't sleeping, or there's so many different things that can really kind of send people over the edge a little bit. So it's how you bounce back.
Yeah. So it sounds to me that communication and teamwork are two of your tips to kind of, not tips, but those are your techniques that you utilize to kind of avoid crashing and burning kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah, definitely those. And the other one I would say is, I'm very much a glass half full person. Mm-hmm. So also looking at the positive elements, because you can easily get dragged down into the negative. But don't do that. Don't do that. You've got to brush that stuff off, and you've got to look at all the good stuff.
Absolutely.
That's to help keep you up there.
Yeah, exactly. And aside from those, what are when you do have some downtime, which doesn't sound like you've got much, what are your forms of self-care that you enjoy doing?
So I love running, and in my years I've run 8 marathons.
Wow.
Yeah, which is not an easy test to do. Someone says, "Oh God, if you're going to run a marathon, do it once." And then I was like, "Well, I think I'll do it again. I'll just keep doing it." So now I've run 8 of them, and I really enjoy it. However, the last one I did was in 2016, because then I tore my ACL skiing.
Oh.
So I know, so it's really painful. So I've had 3 knee surgeries. So what I'm doing right now is I'm getting into my running. I'm running and walking, so I'm doing both of those. But I've actually signed myself, because I like a challenge. So I've signed myself up for the virtual London Marathon in October. So because of COVID, we can't
fly.
Can't really do that. Yeah. So having a virtual one, so I can run it, but I can just run it from here. But they still send me the bib. They send me I get a t-shirt and medal if I finish it. And there's going to be, I'm assuming, there's going to be an app which kind of records where you run. So I've signed up to do that in October, and I'm just like, well, this is good because it gives me a goal.
Yeah,
and
that's
I like
awesome.
goals. Yeah, so I love running and just being out in nature. I love being in nature. We live in the bush, so it's beautiful. And I love skiing. I love diving. I just love being outdoors. That's my thing.
Sounds like it.
When I get the time.
Yeah, when you've got the time.
Yeah. Oh,
amazing. Yeah. I think, because I know that you're quite busy and it's almost been an hour, my last question that I ask, no, I'm so appreciative that I've been able to have this opportunity with you. So thank you very much.
Oh, pleasure. No, it's awesome to be on. So thank you. I can just talk. I can talk.
I love that. Me too. But the last question that I ask everyone is, for someone wanting to unearth their own well-being, what would be your 3 tips?
Okay. Oh, goody. I would say, gosh, you're going to have to edit out my silences here. To unearth your own well-being, I think you need to get passionate for a start. I think it's really important that you find figure out who you are and figure out what your passions are. Because if you're passionate about something, a lot of the other stuff goes away a bit. Someone came into our office the other day and said, "God, you seem so calm and chilled and stuff." And I'm just going, I just enjoy what I do. So I think a really, really important part is kind of setting those foundations. If you are doing something you don't enjoy, it's going to be really hard to have really good well-being, because you're going to have too much negative energy in doing something that you don't love.
Yeah.
So I think figure out your passion, figure out your own purpose, and figure out if you don't enjoy what you're doing, you need to change it. I think that's tip one. It's a big old journey to do that, because a lot of people, it's a struggle for people to find their passion, and it took me a long time. So that's tip number one. Tip number two. This is a really simple one. Drink a lot of water. So this is something super practical, something I am very, very bad at. And I tell myself every day, drink more water, drink more water, drink more water. I think it's really, really important for our health and to do that. And just to do that. And then the other one, which is my tip 3, and these are all about the foundations, really. Get sleep. Get sleep as much as you can. I think that is so key to you being able to recharge.
Oh, I love those. And they were great answers.
Oh, cool. I'm kind of going, well, I also want to give answers that are, not just like, let's just give an answer. Let's actually give an answer that is really, really helpful for me. And that's my experience. And the last 2 I'm working on, because I'm very bad at them, but I know that they absolutely will help me be a lot healthier.
And I was going to say that, I'm like, normally the tips that we give to others are the tips that we either are working on currently or need to work on.
Yeah.
So they're fitting.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's like they're my aspirational tips.
Yeah.
I've got number 1 sorted.
Tick.
Yeah.
Tick. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. And where can we find you for those interested in purchasing from you or following your journey?
Well, awesome. Okay, cool. So our website is floraandfauna.com.au. So come visit us there. You get 10% off your first order. So there you go. And then if you want to follow our journey, then we've got Flora and Fauna AU Instagram, but also my journey is Julie Mathers Instagram, but also LinkedIn. I post a lot on LinkedIn around our journey, but also purpose. And that's just Julie Mathers, I think, on LinkedIn. Yeah, they're probably the best places to find us and find me.
Well,
awesome.
Again, thank you so much for your time. I think a lot of people will feel it was more business orientated, but I love that because it all links in to the holistic health scene. Like, that's your business anyway. So yeah, and just the amazing things that you're doing for charities across the country, it's phenomenal. So yeah, you should be really proud of yourself.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. No, that's really, really kind. Sometimes I just think I always said, if we become irrelevant because of what we're doing has influenced other people, then that's a really good thing. We've achieved our destiny. So
I love that.
I think that's kind of my view on it. We need to get the rest of the world to change a bit. And if that means that Flora and Fauna just becomes the norm because every business does what we do, that's a really good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. So, that's a good way of looking at things as well.
Yeah, exactly. Not that I want us to fail, but
no, not at all. And I don't think you will anyway, because you're amazing.
No, we'll keep pushing.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Well, it was great talking to you, and take care. I don't know about you, but my heart was beaming after speaking with Julie, and more determined than ever to build my own business. This episode was the last push I needed to get going, and now I get to share with you this episode. Nonetheless, if you want to take a look at either of our shops, do so now. To ensure Ask Elizabeth and Unearthing Wellbeing continues to grow, Please subscribe and rate the podcast. Feel free to also share and tag us on your socials. I hope you have a lovely day. Be safe and be kind. Take care.